Timeline of key tariff-related events. Donald Trump has announced a 90-day pause on many of the tariffs that he introduced on April 2nd, his so-called Liberation Day. Many steep tariffs on China remain in place, while those levied on most other countries have been reduced to a baseline 10% level. Smartphones and other consumer electronics imported to the US from China have been exempted from the latest tariffs, but the president has signaled that this reprieve will only be temporary. The US effective tariff rate, which measures the revenue raised by duties on goods as a proportion of import value, has been on a downwards trajectory since before the Second World War. According to Yale Budget Lab, the new duties will raise the US effective tariff rate to between 18 and 25%, a level not seen since 1934. In March 2025, the US's effective tariff rate was nearing 4%, as the impact of tariffs implemented before April 2nd became visible in official trade figures. Timeline of key tariff-related events. May 8, 2025, US-UK first deal of trade war sees cuts to punitive tariffs on British car and steel exports, but keeps 10% American levies on other exports. April 11, 2025, US. The Trump administration announces that it will exempt smartphones and other consumer electronics from its steep reciprocal tariffs, but the president later signaled that this reprieve would only be temporary. April 11, 2025. China increases retaliatory tariffs on US imports to 125%. April 9, 2025. US. Donald Trump announces an increase of the US tariff rate on China to as high as 145%, and a 90-day pause on other countries, during which their tariff rates will be reduced to the baseline 10%. April 9, 2025. China. An additional retaliatory tariff of 50% on US imports added to the 34% announced on April 4. April 8, 2025, US White House confirms plans to proceed with another 50% tariff on Chinese goods, with effect from Wednesday, April 9. April 4, 2025, China 34% retaliatory tariffs announced. April 2, 2025. US Donald Trump announces the US will impose tariffs ranging from 10 to 50% on 185 countries. A universal 10% tariff on all countries will start April 5th, while other tariffs will begin April 9th. Trump also announced that the 25% tariff on foreign-made auto imports will begin at midnight, April 3rd. March 27, 2025. Various notice of possible retaliation against US 25% car tariffs. March 26, 2025. US Donald Trump announces the US will impose tariffs of 25% on foreign-made auto imports. March 24, 2025, US announces tariffs against countries that buy Venezuelan oil. March 12, 2025. Canada hits back with new tariffs on almost $30 billion, $21 billion of US goods. March 12, 2025, EU. As US tariffs on aluminium and steel take effect, a retaliatory EU tariff package targets up to 26 billion euros of American goods, set to take effect on April 1st. March 11, 2025. US announces additional 25% tariff on steel and aluminium imports from Canada. March 6, 2025. US new executive orders backtrack on sweeping 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada. March 4, 2025. Canada retaliatory package announced. 25% tariffs on $155 billion worth of imported goods, including an immediate list of goods worth $30 billion. March 4, 2025. US additional 10% levy on Chinese imports announced. March 4, 2025. US delayed 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada take effect. February 10, 2025. US 25% tariffs on aluminium and steel imports announced. Expected to take effect March 12. February 5, 2025. US low-value duty-free shipments from China restored temporarily. February 4, 2025. China new US tariffs applied as part of retaliatory package. February 4, 2025. US tariffs on China take effect. February 3, 2025. US-Canada tariffs placed on hold for 30 days. February 3, 2025. US-Mexico tariffs placed on hold for 30 days. February 1, 2025. Canada. 2 rounds of retaliatory tariffs announced. February 1, 2025, US steep new tariffs on Canada, Mexico and China announced.